The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus. You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk, the lines between ally and...
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Thank God it's Monday. That's all I want to say. Thank God it's Monday. I am so glad it is Monday, to be quite honest. Because this weekend, oh my gosh, not a lot of fun. Not a lot of fun this weekend. I had to come in here to my studio that I built that I'm going to have to disassemble. And got to take it all apart and everything. And I had to move all of my audio equipment, my voice processors, and my audio board, and I had to move it into a one of those roadie concert cases. You ever see those roadie concert cases? They bring all the equipment in for concerts and whatnot. And I had to do that, and then I had to deal with the spaghetti monster of cables, and hope and pray that I plugged everything right back where it should be. I believe, because you can hear me, assuming you can hear me. That everything is cool, but I'm going to tell you, I said some words that right now, literally, there is a cloud of profanity hovering over Reagan National Airport, and they're having to steer planes around it. It's that bad. It was worse than putting together IKEA furniture. That's all I'll tell you. But anyway, got that done on Saturday. I was going to go down to the Great American State Fair that several Democrat states are boycotting because they have no pride in their state, and they want to insult the people of the state who live there, who are proud of the state, by being petulant little children and not having their state represented at the 250th anniversary of our birth. We'll get to that very shortly on the show. I just did a video and posted up on social media about that. But I was going to go down there yesterday, and I ordered the Uber because I didn't want to deal with parking downtown. And the Uber got to about 5 minutes out, and all of a sudden it started pouring down rain. So I canceled the Uber. I gave the guy a tip anyway. I said thanks anyway, and whatever. So I didn't get a chance to make it down to the fair, but I am going to make it down to the fair. I am going to make it down to the fair, and I'll get to that, like I said, in a second. The breaking news this morning, the Supreme Court in a 5-4 decision has decided that Election Day is not Election Day.
All right, guys, this is not a win for Republicans who were challenging this. Mississippi has a state law which allows ballots to be counted, mail-in ballots after Election Day if they come in, they're postmarked, and meet the state requirements. But it is a 5-4 loss for Republicans, and an interesting cobbling together of who wrote on this. Justice Barrett wrote the opinion. Justice Roberts joined her along with Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the problem right there. Those 5 people.
So those 5 stuck together on this. The dissent comes from Justice Alito. Thomas Gorsuch and Kavanaugh join him. And essentially what the majority said is that these federal statutes setting election...
You still think you need to pack the Supreme Court Democrats because they're so, they're a bunch of Nazis and white supremacists and extremists?
Day don't prescribe, or they don't stand in conflict with states that want to say, okay, we have a procedure to count ballots after Election Day. Justice Alito, writing for the dissent, says today's decision is inconsistent with the terms of the Election Day statutes, contemporary election law principles, 2 centuries of historical practice, and the case law on the question presented. So if you're a state out there that counts ballots after Election Day based on your state law...
Yeah, because you want to, scrounge up more Democrat votes because 80% of the time it benefits Democrats because they cheat.
That state law will stand. We wait on more opinions now, guys. More to come.
Okay, there we go. So that's the news this morning. We'll talk with Doug Burns a little bit later on because he will certainly have a very educated opinion on it. Obviously, I'm not an attorney. I just do a hell of a lot of show prep. So this is going to make the SAVE Act much more important. This is going to make sure that we have to secure the right to vote for those who are citizens. They have to prove themselves. This includes mail-in ballots. We've got a postmaster who says that unless the states send him information to verify those who get mail-in ballots are the people they say they are, if they don't send those rolls to the postmaster will not deliver those mail-in ballots. So we got that going on. That's real positive. I mean, this isn't the end of the friggin' world, but it is a little damned ridiculous that we can't have Election Day on Election Day. It's a little ridiculous. And thanks to those 5 morons on the Supreme Court, you could do that. Donald Trump had talked about that this weekend about the SAVE Act and boys and girls sports.
Would you be open to a compromise measure that had provisions of the SAVE Act into a reconciliation bill?
Not really. No, the SAVE Act should be, it's not compromise. It's voter ID, it's proof of citizenship, and it's also the mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
We want mail-in ballots for the military if they're away. We want it for people that are ill or people that are in some form.
Yeah, that's another thing. We got to limit the number of people who can have mail-in ballots.
Handicapped or have a hard time, or people even that are
that's what it was there for.
on vacation. I'm open to that.
Not to send hundreds of ballots to an outhouse in the middle of a parking lot in L.A.
But mail-in ballots, you have to vote because we have a lot of rigged elections.
Yeah, we do. We certainly do.
And then we added in men in women's sports is a no-no. No men in women's sports, and no transgender mutilization of our children.
Yeah, isn't that amazing that we have to include these things in legislation, that we don't cut off the genitals of our children to pretend like they can be the opposite gender? I mean, honestly, what the what? What the what happened to us? What happened to us? Not me and you. I'm talking about the Democrat Party and the left in this country. What the hell happened to them, honestly? As we go into this midterms, they must be crushed. They have to be crushed out of existence. These 3 morons in New York City. And by the way, the root of the Democrat socialist movement is anti-Semitism. That's the core. That's the difference. 100%. It is the Democrat socialists and anti-Semitism. When those two come together, what does it spell? Nazi. That's what it spells. And this happened in Germany, and they're trying to make this happen with the Democrat Party. And any Democrat who says that that's okay, welcome under our tent, then you are willing to put people on train cars. And I mean that 100%. 100%. They must be crushed out of existence. This movement, whatever it is, must be ended. If you are an avowed communist, an entity of the state, you cannot be seated in Congress, because when you become a member of Congress, you are to swear on the Bible that you will protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, not convert America into a socialist communist utopia. If that is the case, and you cannot do that, you cannot be seated in Congress. We cannot allow them to overthrow our government in such a fashion. And to be quite honest, too many of us have died defending against it. Too many of us in this nation have died on foreign shores to stop this spread, and we are not going to let it happen in America. There you go. There you go. I think maybe I'm a little wound up because all the cable untangling I had to do this weekend. It was like, you remember Clark Griswold in Christmas Vacation? That's what it was like here in this studio. I mean, it really, and I go to move the audio board, by the way, pivoting back to the beginning of the conversation. I lift my audio board. Under my audio board is an orgy of rodent crap. What the hell? I was in here, in this room, there's no food. There's no food. But the mice were under my audio board. And I'm told by my friend Connor, he goes, oh yeah, they like the warmth. They like the warmth. Isn't it nice to know that I've been doing a show here 10 months in a rodent-infested room where the mice were under the soundboard? What the what? What the what? Now, can you tell why I'm glad it's Monday? Can you? It's been crazy. Here's Ayanna Pressley. She's married to Lex Luthor, and she says that we don't need ID to vote because it's already illegal for illegals to vote.
This administration is always a solution in search of a problem. It is already illegal for undocumented people to participate in.
I think it's also, not mistaken, illegal to murder someone. And yet, it happens.
Our elections. All this bill would do is make it more onerous and create greater barriers to
illegal aliens voting.
The ballot box. And as you said,
no, not one little bit. You're absolutely full of it.
Everything always comes back to that for this
It's
administration.
also illegal to like rape people, but some people still do it.
They know that their agenda is unpopular. They know that they haven't kept.
No, 80% of us want voter ID there, Lex.
One promise to the American people, and the only way they can run is to rig the election.
Oh, no. See, that's what you guys do with the, counting of the ballots and all of that after the election day, and then get the illegals all signed up and loading them up with free crap and get them on the voter rolls and giving them Social Security cards and giving them Medicaid and all that stuff.
Either with, racial gerrymandering.
Oh, yeah, it's racial gerrymandering. No, we had to get rid of that because it was racial, you see.
Of districts, or with passing things like the SAVE Act, which would disenfranchise, women voters.
Oh, I was talking to Al Sharpton, dear Lord.
Rural voters.
Yeah, because women can't get an ID after they get married, which means they can't survive without men. That's what the Democrat Party is saying. And rural voters, I'm from a farm. I grew up on a farm. We all had driver's licenses, and we also had birth certificates.
Military voters, because it would say that a real ID and a state ID are not sufficient forms of
No, that's not true.
Identification to vote. Instead, you would need a passport or a birth certificate.
Yeah, you got to get the ID. You've got to have a birth certificate and all of that stuff. So honestly, it is all nonsensical. It's all falderall. It's your Democrat Party. They're insane. Coming up, even Van Jones, the former avowed communist, says the Democrat Party is too extreme for him. I'm not kidding. He says they're dangerous. So anyway, we got that coming up. We got Haitian temporary protected status immigrants, migrants here. The left is going bananas because they don't want them exported, even though they think America is a racist hellhole. I can't understand why they wouldn't want them to go back to glorious Haiti, because the left a couple of years ago said Haiti was amazing and awesome and all of that. It's about keeping them here. It's about keeping them here to vote Democrat. And by the way, 2/3 of them are on some sort of welfare. So how's that working for places like Springfield, Ohio? We've got much more coming up on the show, including not only Doug Burns, not only Tony Schaefer as well today on the show, but James Rosen, Newsmax Washington chief correspondent. All of that coming up on a Monday edition of the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
JVM.
1, 2, 3.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
Can you tell us what's the deal with the 4 or so states that decided they've got a space reserved, but they're not going to send anybody or anything into it?
Well, you have 50 states, right, and 6 territories. A year ago, I got on a Zoom with almost every governor. I said, this is not partisan. There's no reason to make this political. Yeah. We're celebrating 250 years of liberty and freedom and agriculture, which is the first or second driver of almost every state economy. And everyone said, sign me up. Well, as we began to move in a couple of days ago, we had just a handful of states who didn't show up. Washington, Oregon, Pennsylvania was one of those states, and so I just found this out yesterday. Yeah. So I texted Governor Shapiro, but also Senator McCormick and Senator Fetterman, the chair of the Ag Committee, G.T. Thompson's from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is one of our greatest agricultural states and one of the original 13 colonies. And I said, guys, this is crazy. Like, you have to have a spot on the National Mall. Well, God bless Senator Fetterman and Senator McCormick. They said, we're in. So these states are showing up, maybe not through their governor's office, but we're going to make sure every state is.
Yeah, it's pathetic. Josh Shapiro is pathetic. He is the governor of the state of Pennsylvania, a state where the Declaration of Independence was signed, a state where the Constitution was written and signed, a state that has a very rich agricultural heritage, and that SOB decides that you people in Pennsylvania who are proud of your state should not be represented at the 250th birthday of America and a national state fair featuring every state. That's how petulant and child that jackweed is. I got to tell you, I am so done with this crap. And you know what? It is very near and dear to me because I grew up on a farm in Iowa. And being a part of the fair and bringing produce and things like that to the fair is a really big deal for rural America. There's a pride issue here. I'm not talking about one with a rainbow flag. I'm talking about people who sit their butts in tractors and work their rear ends off so your rear end gets fed. And this jackweed, Shapiro, has decided that he said basically, oh, yeah, I went to a bunch of businesses and about Trump's gala, and none of them were interested. It's not Trump's gala, by the way. So the Pennsylvania Chamber of Commerce, Penn Ag Industries Association, the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, the National Federation of Independent Business, along with the Manufacturer and Business Association, were revealed to have joined this Senator McCormick and Fetterman to send a coalition or a group to represent the people of Pennsylvania, whether Josh Shapiro likes it or not. Pennsylvania is where America's story began, and there's no way we were going to let the Commonwealth go unrepresented during our nation's 250th birthday celebration. This on top of vandalizing the reflecting pool where Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I Have a Dream speech. That's how bad the Democrat Party sucks right now. Honestly, just terrible. As the birthplace of American independence, home to the hallowed grounds of Gettysburg, not represented at the 250th anniversary. Think about the profundity of that. A governor saying that a state where Gettysburg happened, the Battle of Gettysburg happened, shouldn't be represented at the 250th birthday of America. How ridiculous and selfish and unpatriotic and awful is that? The engine for the arsenal of democracy, Pennsylvania, has a special responsibility to preserve, celebrate, and share that enduring legacy. Absolutely, utterly sickening and ridiculous, and I would encourage you, if you can, to come here for the Great American State Fair. This is from Jim Gossett on The Rob Carson Show.
That commie Josh Shapiro says he won't participate in our country's upcoming birth date. Pennsylvania's MAGA.
Yeah, they are.
3 times there I won.
Yeah, you did.
Josh's career, it will soon be done.
Yeah, because Democrats are increasingly anti-Semitic.
The great American birthday, Josh won't recognize.
Yeah.
And his lame excuses are nothing more than lies. It's time to stand up
and grow up.
Tell Josh he should participate. 'Cause there ain't no doubt America, it is truly great.
It is, yeah. Even old Bill Maher. Bill Maher says that America is great. Can you believe that, old Bill Maher? Listen to Bill Maher talking about the United States of America because Democrats are so ashamed of it. They think it's so awful and everything.
And finally, new rule, let's all give it up for soccer being the greatest sport. No. No. Not the game itself. That sucks. I mean, there's more scoring at a Star Trek convention.
Yeah.
But I am loving that the World Cup has brought to our shores all these people who are doing Americans the service of reminding us, just when we needed it on our big 250 birthday, that actually this place is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
We can't be more perfect than what's in your mind. We can only be more perfect than Belgium. Which I bet has nicer airports, but trust me, has its own problems. And I never saw anyone getting ecstatic about being there. But that's exactly what I've been seeing here for the last month. Social media flooded with videos of slack-jawed soccer tourists wandering around America, positively gushing about everything we take for granted, reminding us what America looks like from the outside. Not through the lens of some influencer explaining why watering your lawn is violence.
Oh, I love it. And, I heard Steve Bannon use the word providence this weekend. We're experiencing it right now. And in a nutshell, that's what I've been talking about for a few years now. That this is a serendipitous time. And the left is doing a death spiral into hell, and the Democrat Party is doing that. Meanwhile, we are the reaction to the action of evil that's overtaken the world. And there's a reason why Donald Trump is the president in the 250th year of our birth, and the reason why Democrats are doing stupid things like boycotting the National State Fair and destroying the reflecting pool and complaining because Donald Trump is making Washington, D.C. amazing, and the murder rate is the lowest it's been in 126 years. It's because those are the death throes of a party that is finished, done. Take heart. James Rosen joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently having their 4th of July sale, offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson, promo code Carson.
Free in libs' heads I'm living, the fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent free, I'm occupying. Rosie is lying. She says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live.
Well, isn't that pleasant? We always introduce James Rosen, Newsmax Washington Bureau Chief,
Here comes the sun.
with the Beatles,
Here comes the
because he has a bordering on an unhealthy obsession with them. And he joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Hello, James Rosen. How are you on this glorious Monday?
I am blessed, not least to be speaking with you. I crossed that border of unhealthiness in my obsession with the Fab Four, probably sometime around 1983.
Yes.
I also, they tell you this in broadcasting school, Rob, never to contradict the anchor, you know, but unless it's absolutely necessary, and I feel unfortunately compelled to begin this session of ours in such fashion by establishing I am not the Washington Bureau Chief.
What are you?
That would be the great and talented Adele Malpass.
Adele Malpass, okay.
I am the Chief Washington Correspondent and very grateful to be so.
All right. Is Guru anywhere in that title? I think Guru has got to be in there somewhere.
That's what actually is on my business card. Yeah.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news for some, but I don't know if you knew this. I'm moving into your building by July 17th.
Just in time for us to move, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Moving not long thereafter.
Yeah, this is interesting, James, because I moved here to Washington, D.C., and I am told after I assemble the studio, oh, yeah, your building is going to be torn down. So God has a sense of humor. It's a very dark sense of humor, right? So I've been told that I've got to move out by July 17th into Newsmax, and Newsmax is going to be abandoning that building in November. So,
it's a busy season, but we are looking forward to hosting you.
I'm looking forward to it too. They just need to figure out where they're going to put the carpet cleaner and all the mops and everything to make room for my stuff. It's gonna be that. But yeah, we're gonna be in the same building. Do you have any? You got like food in your fridge or anything? Like I can, can I keep my lunch in there?
To mind.
What?
This is a crazy story. All right, forget whatever else we were going to discuss. We're just going to tell this story.
Yes.
Crazy. About Howard Stern.
Yes.
Speaking of radio legends.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
One of my first jobs in TV was off air. I worked at WWOR-TV, Channel 9 in Secaucus, New Jersey, not far from the Meadowlands.
Yes.
Which used to be in New York and was the channel where the Mets games were. It was like an independent channel, not part of CBS, ABC, or NBC, but they did the Mets games and they had Creature Feature at night and some other
I love
programming.
Yeah.
Okay, and they had Morton Downey Jr., who was like one of the first shock jock sort of TV hosts.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Springer.
Oh, God, yes.
Followed.
Yeah.
And then they were the first TV station to show something called the Howard Stern Show.
Oh, jeez.
And this was when Howard was still pre-Sirius XM. He was with, I think, K-Rock 92.
When he was relevant, you mean?
In New York. Say again?
When he was relevant?
I think he does some great work still. I like his interviews with the Beatles and their entourage and so forth. But in any case, he was at the top of his game at that point.
Yes.
And he had a show at WOR-TV.
Yeah.
Now, I was working for this sad little office of 4 people where there was nothing hanging on the walls, sort of like it almost resembled a Soviet cell. And we were doing education documents, 4 of them per year, probably to help the station keep its FCC license.
Yes.
And we did documentaries about education. I think our listeners can just feel from the radio right now the grimness and the dreariness.
Oh, yeah, like those Sunday morning interviews you had to do to satisfy the FCC.
Right. So next door to us was the staff of the Howard Stern Show.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Okay, and they had about 5 or 8 people, and their office was festooned with posters and crazy stuff all over the walls.
Yeah.
I got to meet Howard himself once. He was very shy.
Yes.
Like one of the Ramones, he had this curly black hair that covered his entire face.
Joey.
Black sunglasses.
Yeah.
Black leather jacket. Black T-shirt. He was almost shy.
Yeah.
There was a young lady at the time who I liked who was one of his producers, and I would mosey from our dreary Soviet cell next door to try and spend time at the much more fun Howard Stern office.
Yeah. Well,
and do we have time for the story? Can I
finish the story, please. I love it.
So, it was a hive of activity, and quite in contrast to our office, and people were coming and going, and there were a number of occasions where I suddenly found that I was all alone in the Howard Stern office, sitting on the couch.
Yes.
And in front of me, there was a 3-drawer, massive black filing cabinet.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the 3 drawers were labeled in hand. Someone took the time in their own handwriting to put labels into the drawers, the handles, that said, the first one said, dirty magazines.
Oh, jeez.
The second drawer said, sex toys.
Oh, dear Lord.
And the third drawer said miscellaneous. Okay? And on 2 or 3 occasions, I got the idea after I'd been left alone in the place of
James, where are we going here?
Seeing if this was a gag. Was this a gag, this filing system, or is this actually what they're filing?
No, but there was a gag in there, in the drawer. Okay. Go ahead, yeah.
So, but I didn't have the nerve, and, God help me if I were seen, like, opening up the drawer that says sex toys, and someone came in and said, what do you think you're doing? That sort of thing, right? I was 22 or whatever, I didn't want to take those sort of chances, but finally, on, like, the 5th occasion, my curiosity got the better of me, Rob.
Yes.
And so I went first to the drawer at the top labeled Dirty Magazine and opened it up. And sure enough, as you pulled the file cabinet out, there was an array of dirty magazines neatly filed in folders, labeled individually, Hustler, Penthouse, We, whatever they were, Playboy, okay? And I closed that very quickly. Okay?
I noticed you read them off pretty quickly. You read them off like a laundry list there, James. Go ahead.
Okay. Then I opened up the drawer that was labeled sex toys.
Yes.
And sure enough, as I pulled open the filing cabinet, the drawer was neatly organized and stacked with various paraphernalia that I don't feel like mentioning and specifying in this family-friendly outlet right now. Okay? But there they all were. Okay, in pristine condition, you know, very carefully organized.
Yes.
And I tell you that at this point, A, I didn't want to know what miscellaneous meant, and B, I thought I had done enough, and if I open up that drawer, I will surely get caught. So I never found out what Howard Stern's staff was keeping in the quote-unquote miscellaneous filing cabinet. Maybe history will yield that answer someday.
You never looked, as an investigative journalist, I cannot believe that you did not venture into the miscellaneous drawer.
I think that 2 out of 3 drawers, I had done enough. I'd struck enough of a blow for investigative journalism.
I don't know. Maybe this is kind of a, I don't know, kind of like an ink blot test because, you know, you choose which drawers here. And James immediately goes for the dirty magazines and then the sex toys and avoids the miscellaneous. I don't know.
I went in order of as the drawers were arranged.
Okay, all right. That is fascinating.
No other implications will be tolerated.
Okay, no problem. Now, in the meantime, I'm moving my tool chest out here, which is full of memorabilia, old iPods, things like that. And then I moved my audio board and found out there was a nest of mice under it. I know how exciting my life is. I can't guarantee my
that's half your listenership right there.
My residency will not be as exciting as Howard Stern's in the same building. But I want to continue this. We got to talk a little bit about J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance came out in support of Richard Nixon and also was on with Bill Maher, and Bill Maher says he might vote for him. So we're going to cover those next. And if anybody knows what the miscellaneous drawer was, feel free to call. Let's take a break. More with James Rosen coming up on The Rob Carson Show. That is...
County.
A double Beatles bump? This is historical. Unheard of. Because James Rosen is on the Newsmax hotline. I was just mentioning in text with James off air that, we're going to talk about J.D. Vance and Nixon. I said, but nobody's going to be talking about that. They're going to be talking about James Rosen getting into the 3-drawer cabinet, Howard Stern, one labeled dirty magazines, one drawer labeled sex toys, and the third drawer labeled miscellaneous, and you not opening the third drawer. Everybody's going to wonder what was in that drawer, man.
Yeah, I was just afraid at that point, afraid to know what was in the drawer, and afraid to be caught in the
All right, I want to play a little soundbite from J.D. Vance talking to Bill Maher over the weekend.
Baptist, this is about your spiritual journey.
That's right.
Which is really
That's right.
interesting. And by the way, very, very personal.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little of Gavin Newsom. He has a book here, and I was very surprised. It didn't look like his book. Did you read his book?
People bought my book. That's the difference.
Now, like, if this is where the Democratic Party is going, where this democratic socialist, this obsession with Israel, with the Jew hating, they don't believe in capitalism, no prisons. If this is where they're going, my vote is in play.
Okay.
And
I like to hear that.
It actually always has been. Every year, I don't make my decision by who has an R or a D. I actually always came to the conclusion that the Democrat was probably better.
Sure.
And voted for them.
Okay.
And Trump can't run again, and he'd be a little too exciting for me anyway. So it's either going to be you or Rubio.
That's kind of a big admission for Bill Maher, and Bill Maher is a classic liberal, meaning he's open-minded. And so I give him credit for having the ability to say that on national television. By the way, he got the Mark Twain Prize at the Kennedy Center last night. Did you know that?
Yep. Saw the photos.
Quite
a crowd.
I would love to. I would have loved to have been. I have my issues with Bill Maher. Don't get me wrong. Politically, we are opposites, but I think he's very funny, and I think he's honest. Some of the things he does kind of rubs me the wrong way. But listen, at least he is willing to listen.
He's an independent thinker, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, my marriage ended because of politics. It did, and that's how bad it was. Okay, and so it's nice that he can do these things. You had mentioned, by the way, J.D. Vance came out with some fawning praise for Richard Nixon. I know that you are a student of that era of politics, and I should say just about every era of politics. But what were your thoughts on what he had to say about Nixon?
I'm not sure I'd describe the comments as fawning. They were admiring.
Slobbering? Was it slobbering?
Last week was during continued promotion for his new book.
Yes.
I think, which is about the Vice President's spiritual journey.
Yeah.
He appeared at the Richard Nixon Presidential Library in Yorba Linda, California. And in the sort of interview segment for the book, he said that he has always liked Richard Nixon, that he identifies with him being a young senator and then vice president who's written a book and whom the media hates.
Yeah.
But he went further than that, and he said that Watergate today, if it happened, would be a 12-hour news story.
Yeah.
The idea that it pushed a president out of office is insane. He said that Nixon was pushed out of office by the deep state.
Yeah.
And he called Nixon a political genius whose 1972 coalition, Mr. Vance asserted to be larger and broader than the Reagan 84 coalition, and one that Mr. Vance, thinks could have prevailed in 2024. So there's a lot to unpack there. I think that if I can be so immodest as to say so, Rob, that the 6,000-word article about the Joint Chiefs of Staff spying on President Nixon and Henry Kissinger that I published in the New York Times in February, it may be one of the things that the Vice President had in mind and had read that is informing his view that the deep state pushed President Nixon out. There is no question that there was institutional conflict present in Watergate. There was also a strong idiosyncratic element driven by Nixon's personality, by the participation of James Dean and his wife Maureen Dean, that can't be excluded. But he said that Nixon's legacy is going through a bit of a historical renaissance, and deservedly so. And I think that that's unmistakably true. At the end of the day, though, why would J.D. Vance, why would Vice President Vance be talking about Richard Nixon at all? We have to pause to remark how extraordinary it is that a sitting Vice President of the United States has chosen publicly to align himself with and to endorse the one President of the United States who left under threat of criminal prosecution. And the country's only ex-president. What comes to mind for me is a famous photograph from 1982 of Nixon when he was walking in New York past the Democratic governor at the time, Mario Cuomo, who made some exaggerated face of revulsion and literally scrunched his shoulders up as if to say, I would never come near the man. Why would this be useful or valuable for Vice President Vance to do? And we have to conclude that his aims are not historical. That is to say, they are, to borrow the phrase, hardly academic.
Yeah.
Rather, they're political. And he sees the old Nixon silent majority coalition as one that is replicable today in today's feverish environment, where you have once again the university campuses consumed by far left agitation, and so he thinks it's smart politics to align himself with Richard Nixon. That is itself a remarkable development in the history of Watergate post 1974.
That's very fascinating, James. And in all seriousness, tell me the title of your article, because I want to read that immediately.
Sure, I'll post it again on my X feed right after we're done. That's at James Rosen TV on X, at James Rosen TV. What's interesting is the New York Times, I learned this when the article goes live, and it went live on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
They give it one headline, but they test a couple of different headlines to see which one is driving the most traffic and clicks. So I tweeted out the article as soon as it went up with the original headline, which was The Secret History of the Deep State, which I liked a lot better than the eventual one that they put on there, which is 2 sentences, 7 pages of a sealed Watergate file sat undiscovered, period, until now, period. But I'll post the link to this on my feed on James Rosen TV.
I would have labeled it the Howard Stern sex toy drawer. That's what, to get the real traffic, that's what I would have titled the article.
You know, I can't keep up with this kind of elevated discourse of yours.
You started it.
All right. How I invite you onto the limb and then I saw you off, Rob.
James, as always, great to have you on, my friend. Looking forward to moving into the same building with you and stealing your lunch.
Same. Take care.
All right, we'll take care. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Oh, my God. That was a classic James Rosen. Oh, my God, that was good. Oh, that's funny. That's just funny. Hi, guys. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Who's watching what, where, how, and all that stuff? Got a lot of people watching on Twitter today. You guys always watch a lot more on Mondays because I think you guys like me. Pat Carr, love Rosen. He described his son's bedroom as a super fun site. Yeah, funny. So was my daughter's, by the way. Josh Shapiro, you're wrong. Yeah, 100%. Josh Shapiro is a little son of a gun. And you know what, honestly, to make the decision for all the people, the hardworking people of Pennsylvania, the people who build stuff, the people who plow fields, to make a decision not to attend the state fair, not be represented at the state fair is so bloody sickening. I'm just so fed up with this nonsense of the left. It's utterly ridiculous. War Eagle, hello, good afternoon, Rob, good afternoon. Trump was on Howard Stern. I know that was before he ran for president, and now all of a sudden he's a racist. Isn't that weird? Or maybe it was just all bullcrap. No, of course it was all bullcrap. 100%. Steve Hilton has taken on homeless tent cities disguised. Oh, really? I got to check that out, Scott Davies. I saw him in the tent cities in L.A. It's a mess. We're in a war, guys. We gotta fight these people. We got to take them out. I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about the ballot box and overwhelm them, because this has to be put down like a rabid dog. It has to be put down like a rabid dog. All righty. Hold on. Time for me to talk, kids.
Hear the news, then talk about it at the top and bottom of every hour throughout the day. Breaking news, stimulating talk. Only on Talk Radio 680, WCBM, and 99.9 FM.
What are you doing July 4th, question mark?
If we were to lose the midterms, heaven forbid, these Democrats, y'all, impeachment's not even the big concern. They will turn every committee of Congress into an investigative body, and they'll go after the president's family, the cabinet, his donors and friends. Half of you in this room will be targeted. I run the protection program. I'll take care of you, okay? We're going to win. We're going to win the midterm, okay?
That's Mike Johnson, of course, talking about the midterms, and the Democrat Party is leaning into socialism and anti-Semitism. How does that usually work out? Not so well if you're Jewish. We will have much on this coming up. Also, did you see the Texas Democrat convention? What a just, I don't even know what to say, that they think they can run on this in Texas. It's just so utterly ridiculous. You know, I say that the conservative comedy is on the ascent because the left can't be taken seriously anymore. When you hear some of the nonsense spewed at the Texas Democrat Party convention, there are no men at that convention. There are no real men at that convention. There are a bunch of poser soy boys, and it's exactly what I've been saying the Democrat Party is. A bunch of bat-guado crazy leftist crazy cat ladies and the emasculated men in their lives. Notice I didn't say their husbands because a lot of them just happen to be gay. So there's that. I got nothing against being gay. I can be gay all you want. Super gay. Hey, gay. Super gay. I don't care. I officiated a lesbian wedding. Don't even care. But there are no men in the Democrat Party. There are no real honorable men in the Democrat Party. Not in leadership and not in office. And not running. So do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because it was too hot all night? People blame summer for bad sleep when it's really the mattress that's trapping the heat. I've got a ghost bed. You've heard me talking about my ghost bed. And I love this thing. The other day, my son and my daughter were here, and my air conditioner wasn't working. I didn't know it wasn't working until I went out in the living room and went, oh, my God, it's 80 degrees in here. Because this bed is remarkable. Helps you keep cool all night. No waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, throwing off the covers at 2 o'clock. Cooling tech built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. And ladies, I'm a hot sleeper. Oh, yes, I am, ladies. Woo! Incredible support, less stiffness. Hello, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I love my Ghost Bed. And they give you 101 nights to try it free at home. You could sleep all summer and feel the difference for yourself. Ghost Bed currently having a July 4th sale offering my audience another 10% off. With financing, some Ghost Beds come out to be $1 a day, worth every penny. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. It's easy to remember. Everybody remembers Ghost Bed. I have more people tell me, oh, but tell me about your Ghost Bed, you know. And if she's hot, I'll say, well, let me show you. And she always walks in the other direction, never talks to me again, and then files a restraining order. That said, Ghost Bed is amazing. Hour number 2, right ahead. Haitian temporary protected status. They don't want to go back home, and also the insanity of the Texas Democrat Party convention, all coming up. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus. The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
.com.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor, is going to join us to talk about the Supreme Court decision allowing never-ending election day. Yeah, your Supreme Court, the usual suspects, Amy Coney Barrett, Judge Roberts, and then the freakazoids, all voting, say, yeah, go ahead, just keep it going forever. This is why the Save America Act is so important. This is why paring down the number of mail-in ballots is going to be absolutely necessary, because the Democrat Party has nothing to win on at all, because they're freaking out of their minds. There you go. Out of their minds. I had a very busy weekend. I want to mention I was on social media a lot this weekend. If you want to go to my social media pages, just go to Rob Carson Show. I just did a video today about the National State Fair and governors like Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, speaking for all of the hardworking people of Pennsylvania who are proud of their state and proud of the work they do, speaking for them by not sending a delegation to the fair. So I did that, and then also this weekend I pickled jalapenos. That's what I did on Saturday. Yeah, this is my life. I spent the afternoon pickling 36 quarts of jalapenos. And I put some of the pictures up there. I make the best jalapenos in the history of mankind, and I eat them every day. This is why I had the most amazing colonoscopy ever about a year ago. I mean, they were like, have you ever eaten anything? I mean, what the hell? Wow. But anyway, my jalapeno video up there. And I did something else. I pickled pearl onions this weekend, spicy pearl onions. I'm not a drinker, but if you had a martini, you could put a couple of those in there and it'd be pretty darn good. It would be a pretty darn good. So the Texas Democrat Party had their big convention, and this is the Lone Star State's land commissioner, a nominee for land commissioner. Okay, not exactly Billy Bob Thornton here. He told the crowd at the convention in Corpus Christi, which means body of Christ, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. It means body of Christ. He says that next time they say that James is trans, just say we're all trans. And it went downhill from there.
Next time they say that James is trans, we're all trans.
This is in the state of Texas. Real quick. This is in Texas. This fool, who should not be wearing a cowboy hat, it's an insult to the cowboy hat, says that if someone calls James transsexual, transgendered, then everybody here is transsexual, transgendered, and they applauded in Texas.
When they say James is a gay tofu-eating vegan, we're all gay tofu-eating vegans.
Yeah, the Democrat Party just said they're all gay tofu-eating vegans in Texas. I mean, could you just wrap this election up in a box with some bright, colorful paper and put a bow on it, for God's sake? Oh, my God.
And when they say James is going to hell, we'll say we're all going to hell.
Yes! Oh, my God, it's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. What have I been saying about the Democrat Party? What are they doing a death spiral into? Yeah. I mean, this is the Democrat Party. There's nothing too extreme. There's nothing too out there. There's nothing too insane for this party. That's why they're in the middle of a civil war. That's why they're in the middle of a disintegration. And they think because fewer than 100,000 people in New York City voted for anti-Semite socialists that they're going to take over our country. And you know what I say to that? Bring it. because we will kick your arses up between your shoulders. How's that sound? Children, how's that sound, kids? That sort of crap might fly in Seattle, in New York City, but it ain't going to fly nationally. Here is Brandon Gill talking about the insanity of the Texas State Democrat Convention.
Your campaign pitch being based on all Democrats, this is in their own words, by the way, all Democrats are transgender, tofu-eating vegans who are bound for hell is one heck of a bold strategy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Put that on a bumper sticker.
On all Democrats, this is in their own words, by the way, all Democrats are transgender, tofu-eating vegans who are bound for hell is one heck of a bold strategy, especially in Texas of all places. Whenever I think Texans are looking for some common sense, some decency, somebody who's going to represent, I think, conservative values, not go to Washington and focus on a non-binary God, on there being 6 sexes, whatever those 6 are, and focusing on our apparent need, according to James Tallarico, to have a welcome mat on our southern border. But it shows you how just wildly out of touch the Democrat Party is to be running not only a candidate who's crazy like Tallarico, but embracing this messaging across the board is genuinely insane.
You are absolutely insane if you believe any of that nonsense. You are out of your freaking gourd. And if you want that in governance, you really ought to seek some sort of mental health counseling, maybe medication, or institutionalization. How about one of those things? Just choose one of those things, because you need some help. My God, are you kidding me? Here is the Democrat convention in Texas, of course, doing a land acknowledgement without actually giving the land up to the Native Americans who supposedly live there.
We acknowledge that we gather on the traditional homelands of the indigenous peoples of the coast.
What about the cavemen who lived there, a million years ago?
In the area known as so-called Corpus
We stand on the land of the Neanderthals when they invented fire.
Christi. The Karankawa were the people of Corpus Christi Bay. The Maliki lived along the barrier islands.
Well, what about the people who lived there before them? Were they the first people?
And coastal shoreline, including Mustang Island. The Pamake, which is a Kolante Kamban, were connected to the Nueces River.
Now I'm just hearing blah, 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 blah.
These people maintain relationships.
That's disrespectful. That's Native Americanist.
With one another through shared landscapes, language, trade, kinship, and cultural exchange.
This is your Democrat
Party. There were no borders separating them.
Oh, there are no borders. There you go. They don't want borders.
But rather, a network of indigenous peoples connected to the bays.
And who occasionally would attack one another and slaughter each other because there are wars by Native Americans all over the country.
Rivers, prairies, and coasts. Other indigenous peoples, more inland, but still here on the coast, included the Apache, Comanche, Caristoca Macrudo, Lipan,
the Budos,
Tonkawa. They also maintained,
and they were all frequently at war with one another
in relationships with this broader region over time.
They were.
We honor the ancestors who cared for these lands and waters. We recognize the indigenous peoples who continue those connections. Yeah, okay, great. Make sure to tip your bartenders and waitresses. Thanks for coming out. I'll be here all week. My God, are you kidding me? This is Joaquin Castro. He says that, when Democrats get in charge, they're going to shut down the illegal alien detention centers.
Today, we say that it's wrong, that we should end child detention, that we should shut down the Core Civic Detention Center in Dilley, Texas.
And you're all a bunch of vegan, transgendered, whatever the hell.
And that we should elect
queer
leaders.
Non-binary.
A new senator who won't support it. That's James Tallarico.
Oh, my God, they're getting behind James Tallarico, which is probably not the first time. That said, yeah, they're behind James Tallarico. That's just, wow. This is Texas. They are so out of their minds, honestly. Here is Van Jones. Van Jones was an avowed communist at one point. He was an avowed communist. Listen to Van Jones on CNN.
Look, I used to be on the left side of Pluto, but to have somebody who, their main qualification for being in our party is they were celebrating after October 8th the murder of innocent Israelis. Yeah. To have somebody in our party get the nomination.
Yeah, the Daycare 3 in New York City.
Whose main qualification is saying that there should be no police, no prisons, Israel shouldn't exist. It's a red flashing light. And I think people who have more reasonable ideas in this party are going to have to start working. Because what's happening is the establishment thinks that you can just buy ads and that's going to get endorsements. That's going to somehow help you win. Trump figured out the hard way, you can't win in Iran with just bombers if you have nothing on the ground. Moderates cannot win in these blue districts if they have nothing on the ground. If all they have are ads and endorsements, and they don't have the door-knocking army of the DSA, you're going to see more and more of these candidates. The Democratic Socialists of America, they've got ground troops, and passion matters, and a mobilized base matters, and moderates keep thinking that they can just say, shame on you, and sign another check. You're going to have to put people on these doors. Otherwise, you're going to have people like this and worse taking over this party.
Now, the positive is, as I have said before, when the left exposes its flank, what do? We kick its butt. That's what we have to do. We now know that these people are at war with America. Okay, they aren't going to swear on a Bible that they will protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. They will burn the Constitution. They have exposed their flank, and now we have to absolutely annihilate them. Homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews. What did I say? Homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews. We've got to come together to save our country. And it gets worse for the Democrat Party. Here's Harry Hinton with the latest on Chuck Schumer's popularity.
Right, how's he doing among Democrats in New York, his home state?
Yeah, you think that this number is bad. What about here in his home state of New York? I tell you, these numbers scream primary challenge 2 years from now. Look at this. Okay, New York Dems who view Chuck Schumer favorably. Again, in early 2020, it was 75%, 3 in 4 Democrats. Now it is less than half.
What?
Less than half of Democrats in Chuck Schumer's home state of New York, 47% who view him favorably. This is part of a larger picture in which Democrats are turning against their leadership. They are specifically turning against Chuck Schumer. He is actually underwater nationally with Democrats, and even in his own home state of New York, the Empire State, he can't even reach 50% favorable rating with Democrats.
And this is all because of a generation of kids who were taught to hate America and love communism and love socialism and take the American flag out and get rid of the Pledge of Allegiance and be ignorant of the pain and agony and death and starvation that socialism cost. And now that's the stuff the Democrat Party has espoused in primary and secondary education for decades, and it's biting them squarely in the rear end. I love it. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.
Dig it.
We have to beat them electorally, and then we have to break their spirit. And then we're going to crush their soul.
Oh, really? You in what army?
Thank you.
There's one candidate, she will be a congressperson from New York's 13th district, who the New York Times asked her if someone murders someone randomly, should they go to jail? Couldn't get her to say yes for that. She says no more police ever, at all, ever. She says our veterans are war criminals. She said Kamala Harris and Joe Biden is a rapist. So there is a woke mind virus, and I think we found patient zero.
When Bill Maher and Van Jones say your party is going too left, you've gone too left. You've gone out of your freaking mind. And we will crush them. We will crush the Democrat Socialists of America. One of the ways we're going to do this is with the legal system. The DOJ launches grand jury probe into Marxist mogul Neville Roy Singham's funding of leftist groups. Piece by Azra Nomani. Online, the DOJ is going after this filthy, rotten communist piece of crap. Alleged financial crimes by Neville Roy Singham, the China-based tycoon whose fortune has funded a sprawling network of socialist, communist, and Marxist organizations across the U.S. over the last decade. He needs to be extradited and not only go to trial for these crimes, but also crimes of treason and sedition against the United States, and he should be lined up against the wall. 100%. Not afraid to say it. Not one little bit. That's so extreme. No, it's not if you want to end the republic. It is not. You need to be put on trial. You need to be removed from the planet. I want to go real quick. We got Mark in Baltimore wants to talk about the United States Fair and some of these states that are saying they're not going to attend. Go ahead there, Mark. What's up, buddy?
Yes, good afternoon, Shalom. First, I want to wish you and all your listeners a meaningful 4th of July holiday this coming Saturday. Yeah. Happy 250th anniversary. Listen, I support the farmers. These are hard-working folks. Many of them have family farms.
Yep.
They get up early in the morning, do all the watering and everything, so I can enjoy the delicious watermelon and all the good things while it's going to be very hot later on this week here on the East Coast and so forth. Now, I'm not interested in eating lab-grown plants, by the way. There's a big difference. The thing is, you have to understand that that's a sham. Because this country was primarily, at the beginning, was primarily farms and all before it became cities and all that. The farming industry is disappearing. There's really, 10% farming industry left in this country versus the industry? And these are the farms. I go to the State Fair in Timonian, that's outside of Baltimore City, around Labor Day weekend every year. I hope they do so again in a few months. And all that, to look at the farms and look at the animals.
I know,
look at, even though sometimes the smell is kind of disorderly, as you can understand, but still, they're hard working. They get awards and doing this. They push everything.
Yeah, this is an insult, by the way, Mark. Mark,
this is a sham.
It is, Mark. I appreciate your phone call, by the way. Thank you for calling. You bet. And shalom, and God bless you, bro. My Jewish brother, homeboys, hillbillies, Hebrews. We're gonna have to kick some ass. But this is an insult to farmers. Let me tell you a real quick story. In Neola, Iowa, where I grew up, we had a fall festival called Hoodoo Days, and I hope to be invited back to be the parade grand marshal eventually. My lifelong dream. That said, in Neola, Iowa, the Hoodoo Days is the big deal. And one year, my dad would give me about a patch, like 100 feet long by about 30 feet wide, to grow watermelons, pumpkins, whatever I decided I wanted to grow. And I grew pumpkins one year, and I took my biggest pumpkin down there. It was probably about a 30-pound pumpkin, and I took it down to Hoodoo Days, and I seen all these farmers bringing these gigantic pumpkins with front-end loaders that weigh 300-400 pounds. And I'm like, well, there's no way I'm going to win a blue ribbon for my pumpkin. And then I go back, and there's a blue ribbon on my pumpkin. And I'm like, how in the heck did I get a blue ribbon on my pumpkin when those guys had 500-pound pumpkins? And they informed me that mine was the largest pie pumpkin they'd ever seen. The large pumpkins they do for jack-o'-lanterns, those are called cow pumpkins. And they're made to supplement cattle feed. I know. This now I'm really showing my inner redneck. I just need a chaw, a little piece of cat foxtail to chew on, and spit in the wind and all that stuff. And that actually happened. I know. So farming is kind of near and dear to me, and not being represented at the state fair because some jackweed governor decides that he doesn't want your state represented at the 250th anniversary of the birth of our nation. Honestly, Josh Shapiro, that should end you for politics in Pennsylvania forever. That should just end you for politics forever. Let's go to Buster in Santa Cruz. Buster, the home of KSCO, our glorious little bit of sanity and a sea of insanity out there. Hi, Buster. What's up?
Hey, real quick with the pumpkins. We grow the biggest pumpkins in the world up here in Half Moon Bay.
Oh.
50 miles up the road. But why I called is you got a good thing going. You could have a contest. What's in Howard's third file cabinet? Give a slide whistle away or something. I want to take a guess because I got a wild imagination.
Now let me just refresh for stop. For those who don't know, the first hour of the show, James Rosen was on the show. We were going to talk about J.D. Vance. We ended up talking about how he worked in the same building with Howard Stern, and there was a file cabinet with 3 drawers. One was labeled sex toys, one was labeled adult magazines, and the other one was miscellaneous. James looked in the first 2 and relented before opening the third, and so we're wondering what could be in the third drawer. What do you think?
Well, I imagine, now I got a wild imagination.
Keep it clean.
I know okay, I know that Howard liked rock. He was radical. And I imagine him slipping into some women's lingerie or maybe even a dress.
It wouldn't surprise
that album cover, like Frank Zappa and the Mother's Invention.
Yes.
He would fit right in. I mean, that would be a beauty. Now, I don't know if I can mention this, but I'll give you a hint. What about the video where he talks that really hot babe into sitting on a boombox?
Yeah, I do actually. Thanks. I'm gonna go ahead and say thanks, but I think the rules of the FCC will limit us and our discussion. I appreciate your phone call, though. I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of Howard Stern. I know that's a sin in broadcasting to say, especially on the East Coast, to say you're not a fan of Howard Stern. I don't like him. Has he done some great things? Sure. Does he do some great interviews with artists? Yes. Is he a disgusting, sexist pig, piece of crap who has women on perform sex acts in front of him, and somehow that's excusable? Or saying awful things about people, awful, hateful things about people just for being people? That's the thing I don't like about Howard Stern. For making fun of a plane crash in Washington, D.C. Days after it happened. Sorry, never been a fan of that kind of radio. So, I don't even care. I'm glad he's no longer relevant. He's on satellite radio, and nobody's paying attention to him anymore. So there you go. If you do want to hear the story with James Rosen, it's James Rosen Unplugged. I mean, you've never heard James Rosen the way he was last hour. Go to your usual podcast platforms, look up Rob Carson Show. Doug Burns joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently having their 4th of July sale, offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson, promo code Carson.
Not a win for Republicans who were challenging this. Mississippi has a state law which allows ballots to be counted, mail-in ballots after Election Day. If they come in, they're postmarked and meet the state requirements, but is a 5-4 loss for Republicans. And an interesting cobbling together of who wrote on this. Justice Barrett wrote the opinion. Justice Roberts joined her along with Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson. So those 5 stuck together on this. The dissent comes from Justice Alito. Thomas Gorsuch and Kavanaugh join him. And essentially what the majority said is that these federal statutes setting Election Day don't prescribe or they don't stand in conflict with states that want to say, okay, we have a procedure to count ballots after Election Day. Justice Alito, writing for the dissent, says today's decision is inconsistent with the terms of the Election Day statutes, contemporary election law principles, 2 centuries of historical practice, and the case law on the question presented. So
there you go. So that is the report, and to provide us with much more enlightenment, as he always does, because he is an expert at all things law, is Doug Burns on X at Doug Burns Law. Doug, what do you think about this decision? Not a surprise that those justices got together to vote against making Election Day on Election Day. What do you think?
No, I mean, Chief Justice Roberts, now this is, I guess, round 3 with him. Obamacare, tariffs, now this. But the reality is, and I'm not being overly optimistic, the reality is that people misjudge these type of opinions very often, and they think, you see that, that's it, now you can have unlimited, absentee. That's not the case at all. If you look at the opinion carefully, you can see, and I'm going to study it more, by the way, but you can see that A, they go to great lengths to say it's a narrow ruling. B, they leave open the distinct possibility, Rob, that Congress could act and fine-tune this, which is what I had predicted many, many times. So the point is, this is not nearly as big, a huge victory for all this stuff as you would think.
I didn't think so either, Doug. I didn't think so either. It was a disappointment, but I don't know. Somehow I was able to kind of look at this and go, oh, yeah, but there's other things happening. For instance, the Postmaster General is saying unless he gets a definitive list of people who are going to get mail-in ballots, they will not deliver the ballots. So that's.
And the other point is the global editorial that I've given you and your audience many, many times, listeners, and that is that, Supreme Court decisions, it's not a snap of the finger like, oh, that's it. Tomorrow everything, is again set in stone that you can do this on an unlimited basis. That's just simply not the case. And you may see Congress fine-tune it. That's number one. And you'll see, I think, it's interesting. I think you will see serious cutting back on this notion. I mean, California obviously is the ridiculous outlier, which is give everybody an absentee ballot. That's absurd. Let them count them for 30 days. That's absurd. Don't forget, this decision's 5 days. 5 days.
Yeah, and also I might mention the DOJ has got their hand up California's rear end right now on a lot of this nonsense. In fact, they sent a bunch of FBI agents into Skid Row to check out this. Because clearly, Doug, come on. We know there's shenanigans going on. Let's talk about these two big immigration decisions last week. Temporary protective status is only temporary, and also you can stop people at the border and turn them around. What do you think about both of those?
Well, I'm thinking of Antonin Scalia. He wrote an extensive book with Brian Garner about statutory interpretation. Statutory interpretation is when you look at statutes and you try to glean what they mean. And they have there are different canons of construction, which are actually very interesting. Stuff like inclusion of one implies the exclusion of something else. So if it says carrots, and celery, green peppers is not in the statute, things like that.
Gotcha.
And one of the biggest rules is the plain meaning rule. And here, temporary means temporary, right?
Yes.
Not being cute. That's number one.
Yes.
Temporary means 16 months, not 10 years, okay?
Or 16.
And then on the other case was really remarkable, and I'm thinking of you, and the way you respond to this nonsense, as you would put it. The statute says someone who arrives in the United States, in. And the Supreme Court found, I hope everybody's sitting down, that means you have to cross the border. Okay, those who, again, are driving these wild narratives with rationalizations, they said, no, it's really arriving at. No, it's not arriving at. The statute says arriving in. So the court was entirely logical to say that means you have to cross the border. And again, you have the legal part, which is simple statutory interpretation. And the argument is, if you want to change it. Do it through the legislature. But then you have the policy stuff. And the dissents, really very disappointing and almost to the point of embarrassment, some of the dissenting stuff. No, because they turn around and they go, people are going to die. On a scale of 0 to 100, that has zero legal import.
Yes.
Zero.
100%.
Okay? And so they Tanji Brown-Jackson, Sotomayor, they go with all these policy outbursts, and it's embarrassing.
Oh, and they brought race into it, too. That was really disgusting. I mean, really, honestly, are we freaking children? Are we children?
There was a technical reason for that, so let me just explain to everybody. And that is that in the TPS case, this is interesting, it was unreviewable in court. Said you could not seek review in court, and that just foreclosed a constitutional claim. So what do? They played a race card.
Ridiculous. It is utterly childish and ridiculous. Also, I had heard this debate that if Donald Trump denied a Supreme Court ruling, it would be a constitutional crisis. But Zohran Mamdani says he's not going to comply with deporting people who should be deported, who have been ordered deported, but because of temporary status.
No, I'm very glad you asked me this because I discussed this the other night. And the discussion was as follows. Number one, let's just go to the oath of office for mayor of New York City. Obviously, like any public official, he raised his right hand. I didn't see the ceremony, whatever. I'm sure he did. And he said he would uphold the Constitution and laws of the United States, as well as, obviously, the Constitution and laws of New York State. So for him to say that he's going to defy a Supreme Court ruling, very, very, very ill-advised. And then I took it a step further, which was that if he were a lawyer, hypothetically, that would be completely and totally unethical conduct by a lawyer, obviously.
100%. Now, also, there was a debate about these psychos in New York who are anti-Semitic socialists, which I believe the Nazis were too. They want to see the destruction of Western civilization, of the country. What is the possibility, if they make it to Congress, of them not being seated? They've been debating this. If you will not swear allegiance to the Constitution, if you are a communist wanting to espouse communism, can you be seated in Congress?
I think there are significant arguments against them being seated. Could not agree more. It's interesting because I try to look at stuff logically, and I keep saying to myself, and I've discussed it with you many times, assuming for the sake of argument, arguendo, like we like to say, that these people are on the wrong side of 80-20 issues all day long.
Yeah.
How in the world did they get elected? Well, the answer is, and I'm not the political expert, but the answer is you have tiny fractions of the voters coming out. And it's just insane. Yeah. But again, to your question, not avoiding it, no. I mean, if they... let me ask you, are they going to raise their right hand and swear the oath that they're supposed to swear, do you think?
Well, I think they'll lie.
Yeah,
I think they'll lie.
Exactly.
I think they'll lie. One other thing, DOJ going after Neville Roy Singham. How are George Soros and Neville Roy Singham able to put $100 million into elections to elect communists and get away with it?
Very simple, because the left controls the media.
Yeah.
I mean, we've discussed that a million times.
Yeah.
So the media acts like a front four on a football team, blocking and everything else. And if it were in reverse ideologically, to answer the question, I think you would see much more aggressive.
Well, I hope they find. I hope they find a lot of stuff on him. They extradite the bastard back here and put him up on charges of treason and sedition against the United States.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And Soros, remember, did all kinds of damage with DAs, district attorneys. Oh my God.
Yeah, that they are evil people. They ought to be arrested and charged with treason and sedition. Doug Burns, I know you got to run, so I hate to keep the segment short because you always bring so much good information. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you letting me out. I got to jump on Newsmax too.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.
So the Supreme Court last week decided that if you are given temporary protected status because of an earthquake or whatever in your country, that it's temporary and you're eventually going to have to go back home because it's your home, you see. And this has CNN and all the leftist media all sorts of butthurt about Haiti. Because, Haiti is a crap hole. Donald Trump called, some countries S-holes, and everybody was all offended and everything. But now everybody's real concerned that people are going to have to return to Haiti, which, by the way, did I mention, is a complete crap hole. Here is CNN on the crap hole that is Haiti, by the way.
Yes, now it's Alex Tabbitt has the very latest from Springfield, Ohio. It is home, of course, to a large Haitian community. So, Alex, what are you hearing from those direct?
And the people of Springfield, Ohio are relieved because all of these businesses have moved in with Western Union signs because all the money's being shipped out of the city. Oh, yeah, and 65% of them are on welfare.
Affected by this ruling. What's in store for them?
Listen to this. It's a sob story here.
Well, Alex, over 10,000 Haitians living here in Springfield, Ohio, are facing an impossible decision between returning...
No, not really. It's been made possible by the Supreme Court. They got to go home.
...to Haiti, where the political and economic crises have only gotten worse in recent years. A country that is essentially run by gangs. And the Haitians here tell me that returning to Haiti, they will be going back to that...
Yeah, but see, you came here for the earthquake.
...country.
When the earthquake happened, you came here.
...with a target on their back that these gang members seek out Haitians coming from the United States of America under the assumption that they have money that they can take from these people.
No, they already sent it via Western Union back to Haiti, so there's that. It's kind of interesting. Back in 2018, Conan O'Brien, I remember Conan O'Brien. I used to like Conan O'Brien. I used to think he was the funniest man on television. He went to Haiti on vacation after the, whatever was going on there. And Hillary Clinton and her charity, the Global Initiative, they were supposed to fix everything after, but they ended up just stealing all the money. That said, Conan O'Brien was all high on Haiti and awesome. And here's Anderson Cooper, 2018, on Conan's show, okay, talking about how awesome Haiti is, okay? And now they're all like, you can't send people back to Haiti because they'll die, and Haiti's terrible. But here is Anderson Cooper, 2018, saying it's great.
And I mean, Haiti is so, it's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. But it's, You
know why? Because all they needed to do was get a copy of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and just take it back there and just make that happen.
The country can be poor economically and rich in culture and rich in the strength of the people.
Sure.
And rich in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And Haiti is in that way among the richest of countries I've ever been to. I mean, the Haitian people are incredibly strong, carry themselves with such dignity, and for generations, have had governments which have not paid attention to them, which have stolen from them, and yet whatever adversity they have faced, they face it head on. And as I said, when you meet them, Haitians look you in the eye, they slap your hand hard when you shake it, and I think you're going to have
And then they come to the United States, and they 65% of the time are on welfare.
And you just highlighted a statistic that's really important, the 2010 date with respect to Haiti and an earthquake. We are now obviously 16 years beyond that. But also the fact that 65% of the people who come here who are on TPS status are on welfare.
Yeah.
This is the crux of everything, Charlie. This is why the president is correct, why my good friend, and he is a very good friend of mine, Tom Homan, is correct. They are doing the right thing. And all this wailing and gnashing of teeth is a bit much. I think Stephen Miller said it right. Like, look, Haiti, that's good for Haitians, and go, fix your country. When you have earthquake, we're humane. Yeah. We'll step in and try to help.
Yeah.
But it's not a permanent status issue.
Sorry. Too bad, so sad. And you know what? You could have applied to be a citizen while you were here. Apparently, that didn't happen. Here's Mark Wayne Mullen talking to Jake Tapper, destroying Jake Tapper, about how the proper way to become a citizen.
So more than 350,000 people from Haiti and Syria who have lived and worked legally in this country under TPS.
Temporarily.
Will you be deporting all of them? Will they be all deported back to their home countries, Haiti and Syria? And when will these deportations start? Will it be immediately?
Well, Jake, first of all, temporary protective status was never intended to be permanent. And there's a lot of people that came over here 15, 20 years ago underneath TPS that's already changed their status. The whole time these individuals have been here underneath the temporary protective status, they could have applied for a visa. They could have applied for a LPR. They could have applied for different directions, but the status itself can be ended in its name itself by saying temporary. So these individuals have a couple of choices. They can try to apply for a permanent residence here. They can apply for a temporary visa if they choose to, or they can choose to go back. And if they want to go back, we'll help them with that.
Really?
If I'm talking directly to the individuals with the temporary protective status, either try to fill out the paperwork and be here underneath a permanent status, or we'll help you get back to your country. We'll actually give you a plane ticket plus roughly $2,100 to help you reestablish.
And in Haiti, that's a hell of a lot of money. You're a billionaire down there in Haiti. Holy hell, that's fantastic. Here is, this is Mark Wayne Mullen making shredded cheddar out of Jake Tapper.
Stephen Miller, who's driving a lot of this, say that Haiti is safe for Haitians. And I just looked at the State Department's website, and they have a level 4 do not travel advisory for Haiti just from a few months ago, from April. And it's
listen to this. This is good.
As, quote, violent crime is rampant. The expansion of gang, organized crime, and terrorist activity has led to widespread violence. Crimes involving firearms are common. Crimes include robbery, carjacking, sexual assault, and kidnappings for ransom. That doesn't sound safe to me.
You know, the same thing that illegals do here.
Well, that do not travel is not for Haitians.
No.
That's do not travel for the United States,
It is.
because they are kidnapping or trying to kidnap individuals from the United States because they feel like their family has the money to pay the ransom. We have do not travel in places in Mexico, or advisory warnings. In fact, if you go through our website in the State Department, you'll see there's advisories to a lot of places that are vacation destinations that we have advisories on because of the real risk to Americans. That doesn't mean it's a risk to the individuals that live there. So that isn't.
And you lived there before. Make it great again, although it never was. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hi, kids. Sorry. Temporary protective status. There was an earthquake. You got to go back. Talking about Ralph Nader, unsafe at any speed over there. Somebody said the Corvair was a good car. Oh my God, was the Gremlin a good car? Was the Gremlin a good car? Was the Chevy Citation a good car? Ooh, dear Lord, Corvair was a piece of crap. Sorry. Oh yeah, Ann just says they don't care about black people. I'm going to rebuff that in the next break. By the way, it's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. I was kind of flirting with a toy this weekend, a 1994 Nissan 300Z. And it's red, and guy wanted a little bit. It wasn't about a great price for it. It's great shape. I thought about it, and probably going to have to pass for now. Be the first toy I've ever had. I bought my wife one, a convertible. But she still divorced me, and she got the car. The Vega, the Chevette, the Vega. Rob's 14-year-old self was out today. Yeah, during that talk. The Vega, they always had these Vegas dressed up, and the Vega and the Maverick. The Maverick had an 8-cylinder engine that was too big for the engine compartment, and you would have to loosen motor mounts to get the damned oil filter out of it. These are the cars that were made by Detroit in the 70s and 80s. They were absolute pieces of crap. Absolute pieces of crap. I know these things. I've seen a lot of cars. I got to tuck. Here we go. All righty. Ford Fairmont, dear Lord. Dodge Dart.
About 250.
I have an argument from Abby Normal over on CNN. And she, of course, is making the deportation of Haitians because of temporary protective status racist, because we're allowing South Africans in the country and they're white. I'll rebuff that. I don't have time to do it right now, but I shall. I've still got a ton of stuff I haven't even got to in the next hour. So stick around for that. Here's an idea, though. If you have a 401k that's doing nothing, that's just wasting away there, and when you decide you're going to retire, it's going to be worth the same as it is right now, or maybe just a little bit more, but not very much. I purchased gold. And the reason why I did is because I'm going to sit on it for 10 years before I retire. So I got 10 years till retirement. Thank you very much. And what has happened to gold the last 10 years? Well, it went from $1,200 to $5,600 in January. Then there was a sell-off, and now it's hovering above $4,000. And so I'm going to sit on this gold with Birch Gold. That's what I did. And right now, Birch Gold is giving you a very special 1 ounce America 250 silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 10th. Every $10,000 that you invest in gold with Birch Gold was, you get one of these rounds. It's really cool. They're really cool. They come in a little velvet pouch. You'll be carrying it around. You'll be flipping it like Two-Face, you'll love it. You'll carry it everywhere. Good luck charm, all that stuff. Text Rob to the number 989898 to take advantage of the free America 250 silver round with qualifying purchase before July the 10th. Again, text Rob to the number 989898 today. We've got much more on the Daycare 3 who were elected in New York City and how the main crux of their election and appeal to the electorate is that they are anti-Semites. That's the reason. Not necessarily socialism, not necessarily the promise of free stuff, but out and out hatred of Israel and the destruction of the state of Israel and wiping it off the map. Zoran Mandami was at a victory party and they were chanting from the river to the sea. He did not condemn it. What did I tell you about him? He's an Islamist first. He's an Islamist first. We got to put this Democrat socialist movement out like a cigarette under the butt of our patriotic heel. Thank you very much. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
News Talk Station.
Hold it now. You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 of the show. Tony Schaefer, Lieutenant Colonel, going to join us at the bottom of the hour to talk about what's going on with Iran. I think we're going to have to bomb the snot out of them. I think we're going to have to kill every one of those IRGC scumbags. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. Yeah. So there you go. Real quick, and I had mentioned this on Friday, I've been doing a TV show and radio show with Newsmax, a TV show for going on 7 years. Radio show going on, I think, 6. Live stream going on 2 in December. I have always done it either from a home studio, which is a spare bedroom in my home in Kansas City that I built, or this studio in Old Town Alexandria, Virginia, where I built it, and this building is going to be torn down. God has a dark sense of humor. That said, I'm going to be moving into the Newsmax building. I'm going to be moving into the building with my friends and co-workers at Newsmax, and I'm very, very excited about it. It'll be nice to work around people. I don't know if you know this, but when I do this show, I sit in an empty room. It's not empty, it's full of stuff, but it's a dark room outside of this desk and the lights in front of me. It's a dark room, and I talk to myself. I know. It's weird. It is kind of weird that I am right now just sitting here talking to myself, but I know you are there. I can feel you there. I can read your comments on all the social media. So I don't feel like I'm doing this show by myself. But I'm quite excited about this. We're going to have eventually live studio guests. It's going to be like a classic radio show with my own studio and multiple cameras, hopefully, and the whole shebang, as it were. So that's going to be coming up. I'm going to be moving into a temporary studio by July 17th, and then we will move to Newsmax new D.C. bureau, and I'm going to be have a space reserved for myself there. And I cannot thank Newsmax enough. I cannot thank them enough for this vote of confidence. It means so much to me that Chris Ruddy gave me the chance that no one else would give me. And I am not going to let him down. So there you go. Thought you should know. Abby Phillips, a.k.a. Abby Normal. Did you see that Mel Brooks celebrated his 100th birthday over the weekend? I bring up Abby Normal because that was the brain that they put into the Frankenstein monster in Young Frankenstein from Abby something. Abby Normal. Anyway, I saw a lot of clips from Blazing Saddles over the weekend. Saw a lot of clips from Young Frankenstein over the weekend. Mel Brooks talking about how they did not want to make Blazing Saddles. The studio said, this is too offensive. You cannot say these things. You cannot say these things. This is this and this. And he said, screw you. We're doing it. It is the most politically incorrect. It is a parody of racism. It makes fun of racism. It erases the lines between the races with Cleavon Little and Gene Wilder, and it laughs at racism. It's such a brilliant commentary. Blazing Saddles. But anyway, celebrating 100 years on the planet. There you go. Back to Abby Normal, also known as Abby Phillips. Abby Phillips, of course, very mad because temporary protection status for Haitians and Syrians has been made temporary, and they got to go back to their countries because it's temporary, you see. But of course, she made it about race.
Tonight, a split screen of the Trump administration's treatment of refugees. As the Supreme Court gives the White House the green light to deport hundreds of thousands of legal migrants, like Haitians, we're learning now that at the same time, the White House is rolling out the red carpet for white South African refugees. According to the New York
Not because they're white, fool.
Times, the administration is putting together
because they are refugees.
Welcome bags that include an Android tablet, an American flag, copies of the Constitution, and literature sanitizing American.
Yeah, because they actually want to come here and work and not live on welfare like 65% of the Haitians.
And South African history, claiming that South Africa promotes discrimination against white people.
Let me just give you an example of South Africa right now since the fall of apartheid. This is a very popular chant in apartheid in South Africa. It's kill the Boer, kill the farmer, meaning white people, murder them wholesale. It is a genocide. It's actually happening.
This South African song has been igniting quite the firestorm online. Once deemed a struggle chant, modern adaptations of it have kindled cries of white genocide.
That is fanning the fires of revolution. Yes, indeed, I'm a revolutionary. I do not regret, and I'm going to do just that. Let them go and tell them that they are fanning the fires of the militants. Yes, the ANC is a militant organization. Who left? Who right? Kill a man. Shoot to kill. The Amazon. Kill the poor. The farmer.
Shoot the Boer, shoot the farmer, shoot to kill. See, there's the difference, Abby Normal. The Haitians came here because of an earthquake 16 years ago. So there's that. Honestly, that's what you got. Whenever there's just racism, it's just, you're going to lose the argument because it's bullcrap, to be quite honest. Kind of bullcrap. Oh, Mark Kelly, senator, was an astronaut. I know it doesn't seem like he's smart enough to be that. But anyway, he said that Joe Biden blew up the border.
I think it's also fair to say created a crisis at the southern border.
Yeah.
Biden
did with how he handled the...
the Biden administration did a bad job at the border.
Yeah, he blew up the southern border and caused an invasion of illegals that resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people because of fentanyl and the trafficking of 1 million women and children for sex and labor, among other things, and then all the rapes and murders and stuff that happened. It's pretty remarkable. Kind of what happened in Great Britain, with all those Islamist, rapes of 250 women over there. 250 white British women and girls raped and trafficked by Pakistani Islamists, and the same thing is happening here in a lot of different areas. So there is that. Then you've got this. This is the New York Post. Democrat leader experts admit what fueled New York City socialist purge, and it wasn't affordability. State Democrat Party Jay Jacobs admitted voters' feelings on Israel helped propel Mondami's buddies to 3 primary victories, including firebrand Godzilla Chevalier and former city comptroller Brad Lander, who upset incumbents Representatives Adriano Espelay and Dan Goldman. Both Espelay and Goldman backed the Jewish state, which may have motivated young activist liberals with pro-Palestinian views to have staunchly opposed military action in Gaza. No, they're anti-Semite. They're anti-Semites. They are anti-Semites. They want the Jews killed. They want Israel driven off of the face of the planet. That's what's so terrifying about it. The national civil rights group, the Anti-Defamation League, blasted the insurgency as riding a wave of anti-Semitic sentiment to winds in the Big Apple, the city with the largest Jewish population outside of Israel. On Tuesday night in New York City, a movement built on anti-Semitic rhetoric won 3 congressional primaries. One of the candidates was actually at a rally on October the 8th, after the October 7th massacre, cheering on the rapists and the murderers. That's what we're dealing with here. The statement noted that as Mondami moved through a jubilant crowd, a DSA victory party on the night of the primaries, attendees chanted "From the river to the sea," the code viewed as a call to wipe out Israel, because it is that. It is that. You got this Chevalier. She attended an anti-Israeli rally in Times Square one day after the Hamas horrific terrorist attacks, October the 7th. DSA candidate Valdez, who is now a state assembly member, won an open seat in Brooklyn's Queens House District by defeating Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reneza, a favored candidate. Lander, by the way, who is Jewish and a former DSA member, claimed Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. He was defeated by two-term incumbent in a landslide. There you go. So that's what this is all about. And apparently the Democrat Party is completely, they know it. Here is Zohran Mamdani being asked about Chevalier's radicalism. And she's absolutely radical. She scrubbed her social media to cover up her bat guano insanity. All right? Now, if you thought that the guy in Maine, Plattner, was bad, this woman makes him look like a piker. Kick profile, abusive to women, Nazi tattoo, absolute communist, down with socialized medicine. I can go on and on. She is much worse.
Now, there's been a lot of attention. One of the candidates you supported who won, who knocked off an incumbent Democrat, is Darlisa Villa-Chevalier. She said some very controversial things, including calling for the abolition of prisons, couldn't say whether or not somebody who had committed murder should be in prison, called for open borders against all deportations, including those of violent criminals.
That should be a disqualifier, and hopefully it will cause someone to have her not seated in Congress.
Are those positions that the Democratic Party could win on nationally?
I think what the Democratic Party can win on nationally is a focus on working people. And I think that
He just completely ignored her insanity.
I saw from Daria Lisa when I would walk the streets of her district was a focus on...
She's a racist who doesn't believe in interracial marriage.
She describes as a politics of life. She would talk about how we have to invest in babies, not bombs. She's now going to represent what is one of the poorest districts in the United States of America. And what people in that district are exhausted by is a politics that has...
How do you suppose it's going to get better in those areas if she gets rid of the police in prisons and doesn't put murderers in jails? You idiot. This man is a danger. I don't like him. Stephen A. Smith, I like him. I don't like him. I think he's Satan. I think he's Satan. Here is a little bit more from, this is Megan Chevalier, whatever the hell her name is, talking about looking at things through a queer lens.
We chose to tackle the issue of permanent exclusion for many reasons. As folks who operate within the black queer feminist lens, we know that the most
She operates in the black queer feminist lens.
Marginalized should always be the center of
She just became a Muslim.
Center of our work. And we see
that's suicidal.
This as part of our ongoing work to end broken windows policing, which criminalizes poor communities of color for merely existing. Trying to get to work on time is an arrestable offense when you don't have $2.
Okay, she has been in college for 12 years. She's never had a job. She's a spoiled, entitled little trust fund baby, and she has no business representing us. And I will tell you now, we will not be ruled by her ilk. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Dig it.
Poor little Democrats. Are you guys okay today? I came in to check on you. Every time Trump does something good, you guys spaz out. Would you guys shut up and let him work?
You know, I think I'm kind of done talking about the daycare 3 in New York. We're not going to be ruled by these people. You know, you can have 100,000 people vote for 3 radical socialist, communists, anti-Semites. You're not going to rule us, and we will crush you. We have crushed this horde worldwide as it tried to creep around the world. And Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher and Pope J.P. II caused the Berlin Wall to fall. We ain't going to let it be built here in these United States, particularly during the 250th birthday of our great republic. There you go. Now, representative republic is what we are, by the way, not a democracy. If you don't know that, you're a moron. That said, Joe Biden was heckled at a Democrat gala in the state of Maryland, which is a crap hole thanks to Democrats. It's never going to have live its potential because it's now bankrupt. The West moron, I should say, the governor has turned a surplus into a deficit. They've got a bridge that was knocked down, was going to cost $2 billion to fix. He contracted it. Somebody said it was going to go to $9 billion, and they just fired the contractor. So the bridge abutments haven't even been put in. And it's kind of like high-speed rail. And Les Moore also lied about his military service. So Maryland has to be rescued, but, you know, we'll see if it happens. But here is a bill, or I should say Joe Biden, who Democrats thought he could be the president for another 4 years. And obviously they were willing to push a corpse over the finish line. Here he is talking at this gala, this gala in Maryland. Here we go.
I know the Democratic Party. I fought for my whole life. I'm still fighting for it now. That's why I'm here tonight. To support Maryland Democrats. That's why. I travel to South Dakota, South Carolina, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, fighting for Democrats up and down the ballot and all over this country. Just like I've done my whole life.
Yeah, while you were getting money for the Communist Chinese.
I know the story of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
I've seen it times of triumph and trouble.
Yeah, like it is in right now.
Because I've lived it, I also know the story of America, like many of you.
Yeah, you hate America.
It's a constant push and pull between peril and possibility.
Let's move forward a little here.
Then we went into it. Every single time we come out stronger than we went in. Time and again throughout our history.
Yeah, well, you made it weaker by opening the southern border, and then you got a lot of money for the Communist Chinese. Because you're the most corrupt president in the history of the frickin' country. There you go. This is brand new from Jim Gossett as Obama.
Joe Biden is a rambling man. Trying to form a sentence and doing the best he can. What Joe said in Maryland, no one could understand.
Pudding for brains.
Because he was born a rambling man.
Yeah.
Joe Biden gave a speech in Hanover. He stuttered and he slurred most every word.
Because his brain doesn't work.
Nothing Joe Biden said made any sense.
No, never did.
It was really quite absurd.
Come on, everybody.
Joe Biden is a rambling man. His speech was doomed before it began. They wanted him to cut it short much sooner than he planned. Because he was born a rambling man.
Yeah, he's a joke. He's a joke. Nancy Pelosi said he belongs on Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmoron is what it was. I mean, honestly, what an embarrassment. I mean, what an embarrassment of a human being. Filthy, rotten, corrupt. Awful, awful man. Just an awful human being. There you go. You know, I had mentioned that the Democrat Party is going to become their Confederate Party right now. They want to bring down the country as founded. And as they are defeated, the more violent and more dangerous they're becoming. And now they have moved into communism and anti-Semite territory. This is a very dangerous place. This is Victor Davis Hanson about the Democrat Party right now.
We're getting to the point now the left is entering the era of sedition, insurrection.
Yeah.
We had Karen Bass go to a park and confront ICE agents who were federal law enforcement people obeying and enforcing and trying to restore the legitimacy of federal law, which surpasses municipal and state law, remember? Mm-hmm. And she said, you got to get out of my city. Yep. This is insurrection. Why is it happening? We've said in the past that part of it is that the Democratic agenda nobody wanted. They were 80, 27, 30 issues.
Yep.
And as a result of that, they lost the Congress, they lost the White House, they lost, of course, in most cases, the Supreme Court. So they don't have any power, so they're frustrated. But
yeah, and this is why they want to get rid of, they want to pack the Supreme Court, they want to have illegals vote, they want to unlimited mail-in ballots, no secure elections. I can go on and on. The Democrat Party they cannot win on anything. They cannot win anything. And when they, like for instance, I played this earlier today. Let me see if I still have it. Yeah. This is your Democrat Party in Texas, okay?
Put jokes on that.
This is your Democrat Party in Texas.
Next time they say that James is trans, we're all trans.
Yay, we're all transgendered.
When they say James is a gay tofu-eating vegan, we're all gay tofu-eating vegans.
We're all gay tofu-eating vegans. And listen to this. When I talk about the Democrat Party doing a death spiral into hell, listen.
And when they say James is going to hell, we'll say we're all going to hell.
Yeah. Isn't that just kind of strange that he said that when I've been talking about how the Democrat Party is doing a death spiral into hell, and they're paving their way with things like transgenderizing children. Do you see what I mean? Do you understand this now? Yeah. It's serendipity. It's God versus good, and they're on the wrong side of both. Let's take a break and come back. Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaver to talk about Iran. What's next? Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent, twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of GhostBed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my GhostBed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. GhostBed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? GhostBed is currently having their 4th of July sale, offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson, promo code Carson.
Now back to the Rob Carson Show, presented by Paramount Plus.
Breaking news in the Middle East and a fresh warning from President Trump as the United States conducts 10 strikes against multiple Iranian targets. The Pentagon releasing this tactical video showing the destruction. This back and forth is in response to another Iranian attack against a tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran also conducting drone and ballistic missile strikes in Bahrain and Kuwait. The regime is threatening a complete halt to negotiations with the United States. And President Trump is now saying the United States may no longer be reasonable and, quote, we will be forced to militarily complete the job. All of this putting long-term peace talks in jeopardy this morning.
Well, and this is what I said. You can't negotiate with these 7th century throwbacks. There is no negotiating with the IRGC. They need to be wiped off the face of the planet. That said, I want to hear what Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaver, the president of Project Sentinel, has to say about this. Colonel, thank you so much for finding the time. I know it was late notice, but I really appreciate your expertise on a moment's notice.
No, good to be here, Rob. Thanks for having me.
So what do you think, man?
So the IRGC continues to be the real issue, and it has been since the beginning of the Islamic Revolution in Iran in '79. So nothing has changed. What has happened is you have a number of groups within Iran that are, I think, willing to negotiate, that have the interest in finding a solution. But anytime we make an agreement, or agreement is kind of, framed, the IRGC gets a vote, and the vote is always no, and it's destructive. And so, it's same in Lebanon. There was an agreement there that was put together that would have seen the Lebanese military come in and start establishing legitimate security capabilities to basically remove Hezbollah, and that's now fallen apart as well. So the bottom line is, as long as the IRGC continues to have both political influence and the ability to affect things militarily or through terror, you're really not going to see any permanent, effective framework. We're always going to go back to the default position of having to use military force to counter them, and that's where we're at again.
Well, they're broadcasting, telescoping to us. They cannot be negotiated with. I'm just getting impatient with all of this. I love this president. I support this president. I think he's given, and the reason why I know why the president has not bombed the snot out of the bridges and the powers, because he wants to protect the Iranian people. But I'm going to tell you, I'm just kind of getting tired of this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Well, let's just get it done.
Yeah, I think part of it is he's doing, and Blaine Holt and I have talked about this, and I think you'll probably say a similar thing. It's not about Iran. It's really not. As much as that sounds crazy, this is about London. This is about the global financial system and the globalists who have been behind it. So much of what we've seen in the past, over the past 50 years, is essentially the one group that won no matter who lost is the bankers, is Lords of London. So what he's trying to do here, and I understand why it takes some patience to deal with this, because a lot of us are frustrated, is he's letting this kind of play out. He's trying to reorder the way the nations, the Arab nations function. For example, Marco Rubio was actually in the Gulf last week talking to Oman, Qatar, Bahrain, and basically saying, look, we're going to reestablish some format that will benefit you, that's outside of OPEC, outside of the GCC, and obviously will be something that we need your help on to defeat Iran. So basically, and I had to do a lecture down in New Orleans to the Navy League, and where I basically started off my lecture by saying, basically having a picture of the Gulf up, and I said, what do you see? Because it's a picture without any of the borders. It's just and they said, well, it's the Middle East. Like, no, it's land. President Trump sees it as another development to develop. So that's why he's doing what he's doing. He's trying to reestablish a different framework for the entire Middle East, and that requires essentially the Arabs to sign aboard, and for Iran, for better or for worse, to be bled dry at a pace that the president chooses.
It's interesting. I remember when we were going into Iraq, I should say, and I remember Glenn Beck said, we're sowing the seeds of democracy. Donald Trump is not sowing the seeds of democracy. Donald Trump is sowing the seeds of capitalism.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, and by the way, I think that was a fool's errand. You can't give a democracy to a society that's fundamentally not ready for it. It's a maturity thing. But yeah, so it's kind of like, look, we talked about it. This is a form of the Venezuela model on a larger scale, where basically it's like, look, dude, to the government of Iran, look, we don't care how you kind of organize things. Don't kill your people. Don't do things that upset your neighbors. And you have oil to sell, we want to help you sell it. That's kind of what it is. And oh, by the way, ignore Lords of London and those who have tried to control by intimidation and financial. Scott Bessent is one of the lead soldiers in this whole global effort to reset things. Just saying.
Isn't that interesting? That goes to the point of sowing the seeds of capitalism, that Bessent is so involved. That Bessent is so involved that he's a general in a military operation. It should give you every indication. And honestly, what is going to mean anything to the neighboring states? Is it following the tenets of democracy, or becoming an engine of capitalism and growth and investment? What's going to work better? And clearly the latter is true, and Trump is trying to do that. How do and I know that Blaine Holt, General, is more optimistic about the toppling of the IRGC. How does that happen? Is it Israel, Intel? Is it the Kurds? Combination that we don't have boots on the ground. We're not going to have boots on the ground. But Israel has more of a proximity and an ability to do that. Do you suppose that's the next step?
Well, that's what we hit recently. We hit IRGC targets that related to ammunition dumps, command and control, things like that. And there have been significant protests all through Iran right now as well. So I think it's one of those things you just got to wear them down, because they're like a tick. That tick has been sucking the lifeblood out of the Iranian people for a long time. Yeah. And to start getting the tentacles, or whatever metaphor you want to use, out, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. So I am confident the president understands that, we got to get this done. Look, I filled up my tank yesterday for $3.39 or something. So price is coming down. Everything's going in the right direction. We just have to have a little bit of patience to see this through. And yeah, I do believe wearing down the IRGC by a combination of economic sanctions, military force, and political pressure, it's going to have an effect positive to the outcome, helping the Iranian people and bringing the Iranians into a market where they can work with our Arab allies.
I also heard the return of the internet using Elon Musk. That will make a gigantic difference. Do you know about the progress of that happening?
So this has been going on for a while. Elon Musk has been devoted to trying to establish around governments the ability of people to communicate. He's devoted to that. So I think he's being very effective in getting enough satellites in place that'll be effective. And I think they're getting ground units in as well. This is a massive effort. Billions of dollars are involved. And he's doing it via, by the way, according to the left, he's not a good trillionaire. Just saying,
All right, so I've got a couple more things I want to cover on the other side of the break. Tony Schaefer, can you hold on?
Sure.
I thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're going to talk about IRG say they have no choice but a nuclear bomb. And then also, most Russian recruits have a life expectancy of 20 minutes. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. Let's take that break. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Radio 680 WCVM.
Little Chris Stapleton for you. Love me some Chris Stapleton. He's got a song going back to Arkansas that I love to jam with when I'm driving in the Bronco. Tony Schaefer, are you a music lover?
I love all sorts of music,
So do I.
especially the two country and western both. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, let's. And by the way, I love some new country too. By the way, Coulter Wall. I mean, there's some good stuff out there. Some good stuff out there. I got a cowboy hat, a Ford cowboy hat, because I got a Bronco this weekend when I was at Walmart.
Cool. No, I love, one of my favorite artists is Hoyt Axton, who also played in
he was in a
movie.
He was in wasn't he in Gremlins? No.
Yeah, he was the father in Gremlins.
Yeah. I love it. I love that old school, man. I grew up on Hee Haw. I know all those songs, man. I know all those songs. All right, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer, on to more serious things. This Iran has no choice but a nuclear bomb, according to IRGC media. The outlet says that Iran must achieve nuclear deterrence to gain what it called the calm needed to ensure other disputes can be resolved through negotiations. Are you out of your freaking mind? See, we've made no progress. They're playing us.
So this is part of their continued strategy of trying to pretend they're capable and able to do things. They're not. This is one of those things where, again, I think we have done poorly is countering their message. Stuff like that we should be countering with information operations. I don't quite understand why the Iranians have been masters, and this is another thing they're doing. And it's one of those things that until we get our own messaging game together, they're going to say stuff like this, and some people in the world are going to believe it. It's been made abundantly clear they will never be permitted to have a nuclear weapon, because as long as the mullahs are in place, the theocracy's in place, their belief system is they have to get the nuclear weapons to use them, not the deterrence.
Of course.
Deterrence is not within their lexicon. It's all about trying to get the nuclear weapons to use them against their allies and our interests.
Yeah, ridiculous. I saw this headline and I thought about you, because you are a man who's devoted his life to military service. And I just wanted your thoughts on it. Most Russian recruits have a life expectancy of just 20 minutes on the Ukraine front lines, showing how quickly Vladimir Putin's troops are falling victim to drone warfare, according to chilling reports from Moscow. Historian Peter Frankopan, in an op-ed Foreign Policy citing Russian military bloggers. You as a soldier, this is a meat grinder, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but what all the things you just mentioned are manufactured. Are there massive numbers of Russians dying? Absolutely, both sides. Okay. But what's happening right now is a massive information operations campaign by the EU and the Ukraine to create the perception that the Russians are losing bigger than Ukraine. So what you said is probably true, yeah. But it's worse on the Ukrainian side. So both sides are losing massively.
Gotcha.
And this is where what's happening is the EU is trying to promote the Ukrainians continue to die. That's what it is. And the EU needs to be ashamed of itself, because they're trying to get people convinced, Ukraine is winning. They're not. It's a slog. Both sides are losing massive numbers of men. And I'll say this, as much as I don't dispute what the Russians are losing, the Ukrainians are losing equal numbers. And let me tell you, the Russians have an order of magnitude more people to throw into the meat grinder than the Ukrainians do. Just saying.
It almost reminded me of World War I.
Yes, exactly.
You know, I lived in Kansas City, and the World War I Museum, and it's become increasingly a forgotten war. But that's what it reminds me of, man. It was 40 million troops died in that conflict, and it just kind of reminded me of that. It's awful. It's just awful. Tony, I appreciate you being on the show, man. Where can people find all of your glorious work?
Just check us out on X, my T-Spooky, and they'll be able to find out stuff from there. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Let's take a no, let's not take a break. Thanks for the phone call. Not time to break. It's not time to break. Stop it. Stop it right now. Okay. Here's something that'll make you feel good about, where all of our money has been going. This is Dr. Oz and RFK Jr. talking about the million people on Medicare who are fraudulent. This is actually true. Hold on one second. grab this real quick. Here it is, RFK Jr.
The Obamacare marketplace is plagued by fraud.
Yeah, Obamacare was a massive money theft operation.
Large part because the Biden administration dismantled basic program integrity guardrails, while partisan lawfare blocked common sense efforts to protect taxpayers.
Yeah.
Today, Dr. Oz and I are exposing one of the latest examples of fraud that we've uncovered. More than 1 million people enrolled in Obamacare without Social Security numbers on file.
How in the hell does the government allow 1 million people to enroll in Obamacare without Social Security numbers?
That is a glaring warning sign of fraud. If even a single person was on Obamacare with no Social Security number, we should have found out. Why are we paying people?
Because it's making Democrats rich and keeping them in office. Duh. Here is Dr. Oz.
Shady insurance agents and other bad actors have been getting paid to enroll unsuspecting Americans in health plans they never signed up for. These rogue agents have been flooding into healthcare.gov. That's the Obamacare marketplace. Yeah. They submit applications for fake people, enroll stolen identities, all to collect millions of dollars in improper fees from insurance companies for selling plans they never legitimately sold.
Obamacare was supposed to fix everything. And the Democrats are still being and whining, saying that Americans don't have health care, and that their big signature legislation ends up being a complete scam.
We're also working with insurers to cancel every policy that should never have been issued and recover every taxpayer dollar that was fraudulently paid out.
Wow. We're also scaling up our enforcement efforts to prevent these bad actors from finding new ways to manipulate the system ahead of the open enrollment system this fall. Because we know the bad actors don't simply stop when you cut off one.
I told you that we were going to find out that the United States of America was as or more corrupt than the former Soviet Union, but with a $7 trillion annual budget. And I was absolutely right. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson with another great deal from Birch Gold. Buy some gold, put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Right, everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? Pull your head out of the sand. One thing you can control right now that doesn't cost you anything out of pocket is diversifying your retirement savings. Birch Gold will help you convert an old 401k from a previous employer or an IRA into a physical IRA in gold. You know, something that's a hedge against inflation. And listen to this. Right now, Birch Gold is giving you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 10th. Think about this. 10 years ago, an ounce of gold was about $1,200. Today, it's around $4,500. Where will it be 10 years from now? Text Rob to 989898 to take advantage of free America 250 silver with qualifying purchase before July 10th. Again, text Rob to the number 989898 today for Birch Gold.
The Sean Hannity Show.
Hunter lied on a gun application form. Wesley Snipes convicted 3 counts of tax.
I don't have enough time today, guys. I get so much more
for bilking Uncle Sam on taxes up to $15 million. IRS said he owed taxes. He was later sentenced to 3 years in prison. Remember the guy Jersey Shore star Mike? Yeah. Anyway, 8-month sentence for skirting $2.3 million in taxes. Not Hunter.
Sean Hannity, weekdays 3 to 6 on Talk Radio 680 WCVM.
Tune in to Safe Retirement Solutions with Paresh Shah and Shamik Shah every Thursday at 6 p.m. and Saturday at 11 a.m. for retirement planning and financial talk, right here on WCBM.
All right, time for me to talk, kids. I apologize.
At the top and bottom of every hour throughout the day. Break news, stimulating talk. Only on Talk Radio 680, WCBM, and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
You have 320 here.
Bill Maher says America is awesome. I know. I've got that coming up. Also, highest poll numbers ever according to Newsmax News. President Trump touted what he called the highest approval ratings ever on Monday, arguing Americans are rewarding his administration's success in ensuring that Iran does not attain a nuclear weapon. There you go. There you go. And the Democrat Party is becoming communist and anti-Semitic. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. And vegan and non-binary and whatever. Transgendered. Buy gold, put some silver in your pocket. I know you're thinking everything's expensive. How am I going to buy gold? Well, here's the deal. Take your 401k that's doing nothing and get in touch with your 401k provider and get somebody on from Birch Gold, and they'll hash it out, and you just transfer that money over and buy some gold. There you go. That's what I did, because I'm going to sit on my gold for 10 years. And what has it done in the last 10 years? Went from $1,200 an ounce to $5,600 an ounce in January. Then there was a sell-off. Now it's hovering in the fours. Yeah, that's why I bought gold. You should too. And right now, Birch Gold is offering you a free commemorative 250 American 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you invest in gold by July 10th. Text Rob to 989898 to take advantage of free America 250 silver with qualifying purchase before July 10th. Again, text Rob to the number 989898 today. New numbers out today about Americans and patriotism. And the party that doesn't think America is great is the Democrat Party. There's no doubt about it. They hate America. But the world is coming here and finding out how awesome America is. Here's Bill Maher talking about soccer fans who love our country.
Just regular people looking around and saying, wow, these people live like rock stars. Look at this Japanese guy trying Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing! Amazing! I love it!
British people are walking through Costco like they're touring the Vatican on mushrooms. One European guy said, this is the biggest tourist attraction I can have as a European. It's like a museum. He was talking about Walmart.
I know. It's freaking amazing. I was there this weekend. I bought 2 cowboy hats. It was pretty fun. Here he is talking about what they don't have over there.
There are thousands of people from countries we think of as prosperous and advanced who have come here and are now saying they can no longer go on in life if they can't get ranch dressing.
There you go. And here is a laundry list of awesomeness from America from Bill Maher.
We have the strongest intellectual property, the most innovative R&D, the highest GDP, the most valuable companies, and the most trillionaire. Now look, maybe it's a coincidence, but I think it's something in the American system and character that we have the highest number of Nobel Prize winners and invented the light bulb, the telephone, the smartphone, the airplane, personal computers, and the party-sized bag of extra flamin' hot Cheetos. Happy 4th, everybody.
There you go. Happy 4th of July. God bless America has founded Donald Trump. You guys and our military, and until tomorrow, which is Tuesday, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus. In a world of espionage, truth is a moving target, and every decision carries a dangerous consequence. This new mission explores what it means to live as a double agent. Twice the lies, twice the risk. The lines between ally and enemy blur like never before, and survival depends on trusting no one. Starring Michael Fassbender, Jeffrey Wright, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Richard Gere. Don't miss The Agency. All episodes now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.